Welcome back, and it's now part B of Advanced Search Engine Optimization, and we're now going to talk about how else we use keywords rank. We talked about on-site optimization, right? That's where you use keywords on your own website. That's what we mean by on-site optimization. But we can use keywords on other websites, and that's known as backlinking or off-site optimization. Off-site optimization is looked at very, very carefully by Google, as it used to be manipulated very, very easily. So you've got to be very careful how you use backlinks. A backlink is simply a link from an external site to yours. That's why it's called a backlink. It's coming in basically the back of your site and linking to you. It's a fundamental indicator to Google about how important a website is, because if a website is not important, other companies don't think it's important, the website will get virtually no links. But a good website with a lot of information on it will get lots of links to it, right? And they'll build up naturally over time, and that's what Google looks for. The more relevant links to you, the more important that site is likely to be seen. We can also use, we're using keywords and backlinks, but we can always use keywords around backlinks to give context to those keywords. So when Google's indexing a site, it doesn't just look at the backlink itself pointing to whatever site to figure out what that site's about. It looks at the text surrounding that site and also looks at the site surrounding that site. Is that link relevant to this site? Right, so for example, if I had a link on a website, it just said click here for more information, but it mentioned newborn photographer near that link, Google would realise that site is about newborn photography, right? So it looks at the context of text around sites as well. It's vital though you have natural backlinks, right? They're so powerful. Backlinks are so powerful, they've been manipulated for years, and Google has just got better and better at figuring out who is cheating and who's just buying backlinks, who's creating backlinks just for the sake of it. So now it watches backlinks so closely, and it'll penalise you if you make your backlinks unnatural, right? Now what to do with penalise you get a manual penalty, and your site will instantly either be taken completely off the rankings, or it'll drop you about 3 or 4 pages, right? Instantly, so you've got to be careful. Some examples of bad backlinks. A link from a site that's got nothing to do with photography, right? That's deemed not a very good backlink, right? If you've got 1 or 2 of these, it doesn't matter, that's fine. But if your link profile was, say, out of 100 links, 80 of these were from sites that had nothing to do with photography, that would be bad, right? That would be bad. Lots of links suddenly appearing very quickly. You're a brand new site and suddenly you've got 1,000 links. Doesn't make sense. Google will say, well, hang on a minute. How did they get those 1,000 links? And Google algorithm can actually check and see if your content went viral. That might allow for that. But if you've no sign of any viral content or anything like that happening, it knows, hang on a minute, these links have came in far too fast. These have been purchased or something like that. If you're using the same keyword time and time again in the backlinks to your site, if it's the same one, I mean, if I had 100 backlinks, 80 of them said Scottish wedding photographer, that's bad, because that's not natural. People wouldn't always use Scottish wedding photographer when they were linking to my site. You think about it naturally, if a wedding florist is writing about me and saying we were working with Alan Hutchison Photography, who is a Scottish wedding photographer, they wouldn't link the Scottish wedding photographer part, they would link the Alan Hutchison Photography part. That would be the natural thing that they would do, right? So they've got to look natural. A good kind of natural profile looks a bit like this. 15 to 25% of your links are a mix of all your A, B and C keywords that you've been using, right? That's what you would want to see in your backlink profile. 30 to 40% are going to be brand links, i.e. your name or your studio name, your own personal name, your business name, whatever. These are called brand links. Then we would have generic links, right? Things like click here, this website, that's what we call a generic link. The key point here is no single keyword on its own should have more than 2 to 4% usage, right? So your main keyword, in my case, Scottish wedding photographer, I would not want to see being used more than 4% of the time, absolute maximum, right? So when you're doing that keyword list we showed you at the beginning, ABC, add your brand and generic links to the bottom of it to remind you need to link these ways. So if you have the opportunity to put links on external sites that you've got control over, you can put these links in naturally, right? Because we're talking about the links that you have control over here, right? Obviously you can't influence how people are going to actually link to you, but if where you've got control, you've got to make sure to look natural on a basis like this. So you need a natural keyword profile, right? So if I was doing brand keywords for John Smith photography, even my brand keywords are going to be mixed up a bit. It's not just going to be John Smith photography. It could be John Smith, it could be John Smith wedding photography, my website address with www, with the HTTPS part, all that kind of stuff, with or without. So you see it's all different, it's all mixed, because naturally different people would be doing this, so that's why it would look different. Generic keywords, this website, this site, photography site, etc, etc, find out more. That's how they should look. There's anchor text profile for my website, and you'll see if you look there, Scottish wedding photographer is a tiny little section in that pie chart, right? That's my main keyword, tiny little section, and that's how optimized it should be, okay? So how do we check our backlink profile? If your site's been around for a while, you've probably gathered a lot of backlinks, some of which you won't even know about, right? The best way to check this is using a site tool. And there's two different types of links we need to look for. There's follow and no follow. Follow are the most important ones. These are the sites that will actually pass page rank to your site, pass some authority to. If you get a no follow link from the best site in the world, it won't make any difference to you, right? It won't improve your rankings, right? And again, Google looks to see, do we have a good mix of follow and no follow links? If all your links are follow, they'll say, that's not quite right, there's something wrong with that. So use this tool here, the SEOreviewtools.com, valuable backlinks check. It's a free tool. You can go on and it will do an analysis of your backlinks and show you where all your backlinks come from. Where can we get backlinks in? If we want good backlinks, where can we get them? YouTube is a simple one. I mentioned it earlier, we talked about the blog post where we can put a little slideshow up, and in the description on Google, we have opportunities to put in URLs in that description, and Google, YouTube will actually make them into proper links. So that's a good place for backlinks. Vimeo, another video platform. You can comment on other blogs, right? This used to be a regular part of our backlink strategy. We would comment on blogs, but that was 5-6 years ago. Now that's pretty pointless now. Virtually every blog post comment is a no follow, and Google have basically pushed them way down in the levels of importance in terms of links. It's a handy way to, if you felt your backlink profile was a bit over optimized in some ways, so you maybe had say 10% backlink profile showing your main keywords, and you wanted to get that down to below 4%, this is a handy way of getting that ratio improved by going lots of comments and just putting generic links in the comments, and that helps improve your backlink profile. That's the only reason I would use commenting now on blogs. The number one thing right now that's working great is guest posts on other industry websites. Now Google will say, don't do it, we'll penalise you. And the reason they're saying that is because they know it works, right? They've got no way of penalising this because guest posts have been around for the start of the web and will be around to the end of the web, right? It's just the way the web works. Google cannot penalise this, so they're trying to discourage it because you know what people, this is currently the number one way of manipulating SEO, right? and it's a white hat way, and it's the way it works, right? So what you want to do is reach out to your other wedding vendors that you know and say, look, hey, I see you've got a website with a blog in it. If you're like me, you must struggle to think about things to write on your blog. So how about I write something for your blog for you and give you some free content? In fact, you could do the same for me, right? So again, it's a good way making networking with your industry vendors, and it works great for you because you write a blog post and you get a link back to your own website, right? Other things, obviously Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Instagram only allows links in the profile now. They don't have any links in the Instagram posts. So if you do put links in there, it's a waste of time because they don't actually turn into links. The only links you get from Instagram is in your profile. All these links on social media, they tend to be no-follow links. So again, they're just a good way of spreading your profile out. And a lot of these links are hidden from Google behind privacy things anyway. So you think about Facebook, if you've got a lockdown profile that nobody can see and all your posts are only for friends, Google can't actually see those posts. So think about where you're putting links in and who sees them, etc. Last one is just ask wedding industry, people in the wedding industry for a link. A great one is obviously wedding venues. They might have a list of preferred suppliers. Can I get added to your list of preferred suppliers? Is that list on your website? If it is, can I get a link there, right? And again, you can do similar things. I used to have a links page on my website. It would link my favourite venues and favourite vendors and people like that I worked with. So you're giving them quid pro quo. For example, a videographer, I'm saying, hey John, I did a wedding with you there. I really enjoyed working to you. I'd like to work with you again. I'm happy to promote your services to other couples. In fact, I'm going to put your website in my list of favourite wedding vendors. Is that okay? Would you mind doing something similar for me? Right, and you get a backlink from them. So, and it's a good relevant backlink. Now, this is where we can get really clever with search engine optimization, because currently we've talked about things that we can't really control too much ourselves. So they say we can do backlinks up to a point, but apart from the guest posts, really getting powerful backlinks is actually quite difficult. So what we can do is we talk about these as more, it used to be called in the SEO industry Web 2.0 links. They're not the most powerful links, but they're actually very good for helping to push the profile of a website. And what you can do is start building websites around your website, right? Now think about what do I mean by that? There's a lot of websites that are free, right, where you can create a blog on. The first one I'm showing here is WordPress.com. Now, if you're using WordPress, obviously you're familiar with it. WordPress.com is the free version of WordPress where you can go on, just create a site. It's generally designed for hobbyists, people like that. You can go on, 10 minutes, you've got a website of your own. It'll be something, say, alanshobby.wordpress.com. That'll be the domain name for it. And it's just a website where you can actually create websites, other wedding photographer or wedding industry little websites. So create a fictitious website, half a dozen blog posts on there, right? But 2 or 3 of those blog posts are going to link to you, right? So that will look to Google like there's another business here linking to you. So suddenly you've now got control of some of your backlinks. And then we can do that on other platforms like blogger.com, livejournal.com, blogspot, webs.com, anywhere you can get a free website. It doesn't cost you anything, you can do this, right? And it does take a bit of work, but oh boy, does it make a difference to your search rankings, right? So it's really worthwhile investing some time in this. If you can't do it yourself, get somebody to do it for you. You get the kids involved. The kids, tell them that you want to teach them about how to build a website and get one of your kids to do it, right? Great use of your time. Remember, when you're creating the account names for these websites, they need to not look like your website. So try and use set up a few email names on Gmail, different email, register using those names, not your own name. So there's no link to you, right? Because Google can detect that kind of stuff. And on these properties, you wouldn't use your main keywords because the power of these properties isn't good enough, right? They're quite low level in terms of domain authority. So you would just use the B and C keywords for backlinks from these. You always reserve your A keywords for the best websites that you're getting backlinks from, right? If you haven't got any time to write articles, go on to Upwork or Fiverr. You'll find that people will do it for a few dollars. It's worth doing. And nowadays there's even what we call AI-driven document tools out there, which will write documents for you. Got to be careful with them because, again, Google's quite hot on that at the moment because it's becoming so popular. So if you do have an AI-driven article, you've got to edit it and make it look like it's been written by a human being, not a robot. Next thing is local SEO. What is local SEO? Anytime I'm sure you've seen it, you go on Google, type in, say, a Stirling wedding photographer, a London wedding photographer, Scarborough wedding photographer, you're going to get a map shown on the screen right at the start. And that's what Google call the Maps pack. And it's driven by Google My Business, which is Google's basically portal into their Maps technology. And you should register your own company on Google My Business. Just Google it, it'll let you see how you sign up. Google will have to verify your address, and what they do is they send you a little postcard to your house with a code that you go back into the site and put your code in to get verified, so they know you're actually physically at that location. The great thing about the Maps pack is it generally comes up first in the search results pages when you do a search. So you may not be ranking number 1 for the search term, but you might be in the Maps pack. And there's usually typically 3 shown there. Google changes things from time to time, so I'm saying 3 at the moment. Next week it could be 4, a couple of weeks' time it could be none, They're constantly tweaking how the system works, but it's very, very easy to get into the Maps pack, and I'm going to tell you how. And it's focused on a thing called citations. Right? What are citations? Well, citations are mentions of your business, and specifically mentions of the name, address, and phone number. Why those particular terms, NAP, name, address, and phone number? Because businesses use these, and Google wants to make sure any business they show on the maps has to be a genuine business. So the more mentions of a business that are out there, not just website pages, etc., actual business confirming the address, confirming the phone number, confirming the name of the business, Google then knows that, hang on a minute, this is definitely a genuine business because there's hundreds of people mentioning it. And that's what citations are, right? So where do we get these citations? Basically trade directories. That's where they're found, and that's where Google looks for this information generally. So think of sites like Yelp, Yahoo, etc. Other map sites, the Apple Maps site, Google Maps, anywhere, any sites like that, Mapbase. These are where the citations come from, and you need to get your business listed on these. It's the easiest search engine optimization of the lot, and this can get you into the local maps pack very, very quickly. Most photographers don't do this, don't know about it, just get it done. As I said, register on Google My Business. Once you're on there, ask couples and stuff people to reviews, because the reviews help a lot in terms of where you are in this maps list, right? There's a link there for a list of UK sources where you can get your citations posted. And similarly, there's a list for USA businesses, right? So spend a couple of hours one day, just hit those lists and go through each of those sites and get your details on there, or always check that you're not already on there, because if you are already on there, your details might be incorrect. So again, it's an opportunity for you to correct those details, because the consistency is key in terms of citations. And if you can do citations properly, you will be well ahead on local SEO. Next thing we're going to talk about building a social fortress, right? Again, Google looks for certain things, and nowadays they know that if a company exists, they're going to build social profiles around about that company. Facebook's an obvious one to start with. You'll have your personal profile page, but you can also have a business page. I'm sure most of you know this. Don't use your profile page for business, or you will risk losing it. Google could ban your account if they see you're sharing business stuff on your personal page, or your name of your personal page is around a business. That's wrong. That's in the terms that you've got to use a proper name. So create a business page on Facebook and use that to promote your business. Instagram, set up a business profile, not a creator profile. Because if you set up a business profile, there's certain things you can do in it in terms of automation and data and stuff. I'm not going to get into in this part of the course because it's too involved, but just trust me, when you set it up, don't create a creator profile, create a business profile. Don't ask when you've just set your page up. I see it again so many times. Oh, please like my business page. Get all my friends and they ask other photographers as well. Oh, will you like my page? And I've even seen groups where you go in and they'll have a discussion thread. Add your name, add your Facebook page, and we'll all like it. So we'll all boost everybody's likes. That's the stupidest thing you'll ever do, because what happens there is, think about how Facebook works, right? Way back in the day when you put a business post up, say, yeah, hey, look at my wedding photography, come and book me. Everybody would see it. Now that doesn't happen. When I put a Facebook post up on my business page, I say, hey, everybody, book me for your wedding photography. Only about 5% of the people that like my page will actually see it, because Google want you to pay for advertising, so they don't push your page naturally the same way they used to. So think about it. If I've got 100 page likes and 95% of those page links are other photographers, and only 5 of those are actual clients, who's going to see that post about booking me for a photographer? You bet it's not going to be my clients, it's going to be other photographers, which is a waste of time. So don't ask for likes from other photographers, right? You're just watering down your potential people that will actually see your post. You want real clients to like your business page. Create an account on YouTube, create a channel. I talked about putting slideshows up there. You get it on there and get them all linking back to your website posts. It's a great social platform to be on. TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Vimeo, every social media platform you can think of. Whether you use them or not, just get yourself on there, create a profile. You'll probably get a free link from your profile back to your account. It's a free backlink. Get on every single one. There's 50 or 60 social media businesses out there desperate for people to register on. So just get yourself on there. Social signals are another element of SEO. It's the newest element of SEO, and it's where Google recognise that if something is linking, if something's got a backlink to it, surely there will be social media posts as well. And that's another way Google verifies that backlinks are actually natural and genuine. Because when you get a link, it's usually the result of somebody having found out about your business from somewhere else, and it's typically nowadays social media. So they look for these social signals. So again, yourself, every time you put a blog post up, put a link on your Facebook business page, right? Do the same on Instagram. Okay, you're not going to get the link on Instagram, but Facebook will recognise the signals, and so Twitter, etc. Ask for shares and likes of those pages. I always put, if you're on my Facebook profile, you'll see I'll say, please share, please like this post. Right? Ask them questions, get them to engage with you in the posts. Hey, what's your favourite image here? Is it the first one or the last one? Do you prefer black and white? Do you prefer colour? You know, is anybody else planning a wedding at this venue? So ask questions in your social profile to improve your engagement. Backlinks. We talked about how important backlinks are and how important certain sites are. And there are things in the industry basically determine how authoritative a website is, and it's factors which we call trust flow, citation flow, and domain authority. Now, if you ever go on ahrefs.com or semrush.com, you'll see mentions of these, and the higher the number, the more important the site is, right? moz.com is another one, handy to get on. A lot of these sites are paywalled now. They used to be free, so try and get on and get a free account. They'll try and encourage you to sign up, have a trial, just try and skip the trials and just get the free account. So you want backlinks from high page authority sites, right? So how are we going to get them? So any site with a TFCFDA of 20, 20, 20 and above, so any of those numbers are 20, 20 or above, that's where you want your main keywords to be. Remember, it says we're going to keep the main keywords to these top sites, if you can get on them. How do we get on them? Well, you want to write blog posts for the big sites in the photography niche, right? Think about the photography review sites, the photography training sites, the big names out there like expertphotography.com. There's a great resource online all about guest blogging and why it's important, right? Have a wee read through that link and I'll tell you a bit about it. But do a search for "write for us" in quotes. So you're going to Google, type in "write for us" in quotes, and then the word photography. And that will actually then give you a list of sites that are actually encouraging people to write for them. They actually have a link on their website saying "write for us." They're encouraging people to write for them because sites are always looking for new content, right? That'll give you a list of sites to work from. Start writing all these sites down and then go and check their trust flow, their domain authority, etc., and see how authoritative those sites, and create a hit list. The higher numbers they are in terms of TFDA, etc., the better, right? When you contact them, you're going to say, look, I'm going to write an article on this. Will it be of interest? Obviously, I'd like a link back, a follow. Typically, I don't say it specifically at the start. I say, I'd like a link back to my site. Obviously, I'm taking the time to write this for you, and a link from the bio at the bottom of the article. Is that okay? And occasionally I've done that. I've sent that to sites, and when they publish it, they've made it a no-follow link. And then all I do is I just contact them again. I say, look, you've made that a no-follow link. Would you mind making that a follow link? Just so I get something back for it. And 9 times out of 10, they'll change it, no problem at all, right? And then that's where you want your main keywords to be. These are the ones that are going to push you from page 2 to page 1, right? Always make sure, though, that the blog you're writing for is relevant to your own website, or Google will just downgrade it. So don't agree to put a guest blog post on some site that's got nothing to do with photography, right? Just make sure you do it. Other things to do, create a Google Search Console account. Again, just type in Google Search Console on Google and it'll take you to the Search Console. What the Search Console does is it shows you what pages are actually in the search index, so you can actually see what Google is seeing, right? And this is where it also allows you to basically get a individual page index quickly. So you can go in there and say request a URL index. You go in there and it will index your page and get you in the queue to get indexed, and you can usually get your page indexed within a day, where normally it would take maybe a week or a fortnight if you just left it to happen naturally. And that's the link there for it. Yeah. You'd upload your sitemap. Every website has a sitemap nowadays. It's with WordPress. These are created by plugins like Yoast, and you'll get the link in the Yoast plugin. Just copy that link, get into Search Console and say upload my sitemap, and that's a way of instantly getting Search Console to start indexing your site. So if you've never done it before, do it now and get on there. Create a Google Analytics account. What is Analytics? Analytics is just a tool used by Google to give you data about the traffic that your site gets, customer behavior, what pages they visit, and most importantly, bounce rate. A bounce is somebody comes to your site and then instantly leaves. That's called a bounce. So they just hit your site and leave. and Google will report your bounce rate to you. Now, the average bounce rate industry in the photography area is around about 60-70%, believe it or not. So if you're in that area, don't panic. You're hitting the industry average. But if you can get your bounce rate much lower, that will tell Google that people come to your site and they like it and they stay there and they engage with your site. So Google will again push you up the rankings. Now, when we had our wedding industry site, we managed to get our bounce rate below 10%. When I had my SEO site, I had my bounce rate at 2%, right? That's how low you need to get. Now, I've just created this new site, Marketing for Photographers. It's only been online for a few weeks now at the time I'm recording this. So the bounce rate's about 60% at the moment. So I've got work to do. So I've got to look at that and analyse it. Why are people leaving that homepage? Now, typically in a new site, people are just having a quick look to see what it's about. Oh yeah, I'll have a look, and then they'll come back to it later. So that's kind of natural, and over time I'm going to expect it to come down. But I will probably need to do some work to make sure that when I get them on that page, they stay on the site for at least 2 or 3 pages, right, and get that bounce rate down. There's a link for Google Analytics. Get yourself registered on there. It's pretty easy to do. Only thing you've got to be aware of, you've got to link your own domain name, and then there's a way Google can verify you actually own the website that you want to get the analytics about. So, and again, within WordPress, there's tools like Yoast, the SEO plugin will allow you to put your analytics code number in the plugin. It saves you having to install actually any computer code on your website, so it makes it a lot easier. Constantly monitor your backlink profile, right? Do it once a fortnight. So just have a look at your backlinks. Have they increased anyway? Last week I had 120. What have I got now? If it suddenly went up to 800, there's something wrong, right? So I need to know why, because you might find that somebody's put a link on their site, and the site's designed the wrong way, and suddenly they'll get duplicate content everywhere. So I had it once. I had one site, I had something like 1,600 links coming for one site, and it was to do with a comment on their site, on their blog, and theirs was such a badly designed site. The blog's posts were being duplicated because of the way their categories and tags were set up, and it was horrific. And I actually had to write to the site owner and say, look, would you mind deleting that comment for me? And they took it off. It was fine. But again, you've got to be careful with your backlinks. Keep an eye on them. So, how do we get to page 1? We've done all this work, right? So you've got to find keywords with good traffic. And so when you're on page 1, it's worthwhile being there, right? You've got to do consistent on-site optimization and internal linking, like we described. So you do this on a regular basis. Don't just pick it up 1 month. I'm going to do some SEO this month and forget about it for 6 months. Try and make it a thing that you regularly do as part of your business plan. Run a consistent weekly backlink campaign. I want to get 10 backlinks this week. How am I going to get them? Right? Where am I going to put them? Can I try and do 1 guest post a month at least? Remember to diversify your keywords, monitor their usage, so you're making it look natural, the profile's natural. Strong keywords should only be used on these high TFC domain authority sites I mentioned earlier, right? Don't forget to link to other pages, not just your home page, right? Again, keep it natural. People wouldn't always just link to your home page. They would link to your portfolio, or link to some of your blog posts. Make sure that the profile is natural. Okay? So, that's about it on SEO. SEO is a massive subject. Obviously, search engine optimization itself could be the subject of a 30 lesson course, right? So I'm trying to give you the most important bits, the bits that you can work with, the bits that are achievable by you. And all of this is achievable, trust me. And if you do this, you can rank, because everything I did here was what I did on my photography site to make it rank. I didn't do anything underhand. I've done other things to rank other people's sites. When I say underhand, I don't mean underhand. I mean it's more sophisticated, shall we say, in terms of how we rank sites. And I would do that on my own site, but my photography site was all done naturally with a bit of work, like I described here. And it got to #1 for some of the biggest keywords in the Scottish wedding industry, and we dominated the Scottish wedding industry because of that. So it's worthwhile. Think about, advertising costs you, I don't know, £1 a click or something, $1 a click for a keyword. And say you get 30 clicks, there's $30. Well, we were getting, hundreds of clicks a month, thousands of clicks. If I had paid for them, what would they cost me? So that was the amount of free advertising I'm getting from Google. So that's why you want to dominate your search rankings. It's very, very important. The better you can do, you'll really benefit from it. It's not the be all and end all, trust me. It's not, I mean, you can, marketing and other things will work as well, but this is just free advertising. That's what you think of as, in terms of search engine optimization. It's free advertising, and it's the cheapest advertising you'll get, right? Because it'll cost you nothing apart from the amount of time you take each week to do a little bit of work on your search engine optimization. All right, we'll leave it there, and we'll see you in the next lesson.